economic interests. Those keywords in U.S. Trade Representative Katherine Tai's speech on Monday shaped the core interest of the Biden administration's trade policy toward China. The American trade chief says the U.S. welcomes Chinese competition, but then she went on to accuse China of hurting the U.S. economy through years of unfair competition.
China bashing is their best solution to pass the blame for failures like not fully meeting its trade commitments. But the U.S. knows the real problem does not lie with China. When China wants to buy high-end products, the U.S. won't sell them for so-called security reasons.
While the Biden administration will keep Trump-era tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars of Chinese imports, his trade representative did mention tariff exclusion for certain businesses. Tai says the U.S. does not intend to inflame trade tensions with China and is willing to talk with Beijing. However, experts warn China should not place its hopes in carrot and stick policy.
A tougher stance on and coercion of China has become the mainstream policy for the ruling party in Washington. Apart from trade frictions, the U.S. has also built tension in foreign affairs, beefed up a military presence in South China Sea, and intensified suppression of China in high-end sectors.
Liu says the economy has been hijacked by U.S. politicians on both sides of the aisle to serve their political agenda, despite knowing any recovery is impossible without China. He added the best way to make America great again is to give up its Cold War mentality and adopt reform and opening up like China has been doing over the past 4 decades. Sun Tianyuan, CGTN, Beijing.
Now joining me now, our current affairs commentators, Mr. Li Yong, who's in the studio with me, and Ina Tangan via Skype. Mr. Li, let me start with you. Let's discuss what Katherine Tai had to say. America's top trade negotiator, Katherine Tai, says the U.S. needs to chart a new course to change the trajectory of the U.S.-China trade dynamic. Now, what can we hope to see in the future?
I think, I just to give a little credit to what Ambassador Tai said about changing the course of or the trajectory of the bilateral relations, because we really doubt whether she was talking about shrinking the relationship or expanding the relationship. So what I think is practical is actually the 2 points that she mentioned in her presentation. One is the discussion about with the Chinese counterpart about trade agreement. I think on that platform, China will communicate China's concerns with the problems from the United States. And the second one, I think, is the exclusion of the tariffs. And that, I think, need to be done because clearly we are facing damages both from the Chinese side and the U.S. side. I think there should be immediate steps being taken to really take out the problems. And of course, there might be some other dynamics in relation to its effort to work with allies to put pressure on China, but how and when that is going to be and in what kind of form, we don't know yet.
Now, Ina, let me bring you into the conversation. What message do you think Tai was sending in her speech?
Well, there are three distinct messages that we saw. One is to the American public, which is kind of red meat. We're going to put China's toes to the fire. We're going to insist on China completing phase 1, etc. The one was to China, which unfortunately is being interpreted as more of the same.